Thank you. So tonight, I'd like to ask and answer two questions. One of the questions is, how do you create a bond that turns a good team into a great team? The other question is, how do you measure such a thing? In sport, it's pretty easy. If you want to see if someone's faster, you just do a stopwatch and you can see that they're getting quicker. If you want to see if they're getting stronger, you just put more weights on the weight machine and see if they can lift them. But culture is a little bit different. Culture is more a feeling. But our coaching staff and myself thought we have found a way. What we have done is we've had a look at how we celebrate. And when we celebrate, there are 10 field players on the hockey field. And when we score a goal, we watch what happens. And as we start to progress, and as we start to have success, there is like this magnet that brings our players together. We have worked out that when our culture is at its very, very best, we start seeing 10 out of 10 celebrations. So how does this happen, or how do we build this? As you have heard, my name is McLeod, and I have been lucky enough to be working with the Belgian Red Lions over the last 10 years. And when I was first asked to take over the role, I had to work out, how do I start to build these connections? And the very first connection is a player and coach connection. So what I do is I will often set them homework tasks. And the first homework task that I said was a very simple one. It was an Olympic selection task. It was very simple. What they had to do was they had to write down what they thought would be the most successful team at the Olympics, the starting 11 players. The only criteria is that they had to put themselves in the team. They loved it. They're in. They're going to the Olympics. But along with that, I had a series of questions that I would also ask them. These questions are gateway questions. They tell me a lot about the player. The first question is very simple. Where have you put yourself, and why have you put yourself in that position? And it's a way for them to speak very openly about their strengths. This is who I am. This is what I'm good at. And this is where I think I can be of the most value for the group. The second question I ask them is, okay, if you've put yourself there, who have you put around you? And this is a gateway question for them to talk about the strengths of the other players in and around them. And when I do this homework task with the whole team, there's 4 or 5 players that appear on everyone's list. It's very good for a coach because you don't have to worry about selecting or talking about selections of those players. They're in. They're the glue that help the team play well. If they make players play better and others want to play with them, it's a no-brainer. They must be in the team. I also asked the player, look, in your development state, what would you give yourself out of 10 for where you are right now? Most of the time they see this magic number 7, which is a great number because the next thing that I say is, well, if you're a 7, what do you need from us? The coaching staff and all the support network around you. What is going to help you move from a 7 to an 8 or a 9, or even a better 10? And it gives them a very easy opportunity to talk to us about their needs. How do they learn? What's the environment they want to be surrounded with? How do we need to treat them? At the end of this series of questions, I ask them one more question, and it's a really difficult question. I ask them, so what do you bring to us? And because it's a hockey coach talking to a hockey player, they think I'm talking hockey. And they will say, look, I run hard, or I work really hard at training. I stop them. Look, I've asked you in the wrong way. What I mean is, why is this place a better place with you in it? Why do we need you in this environment? How are you helping this environment to be better? And again, it's quite a tough question So I give the players a few days to kind of think of an answer that is fitting and give them a chance to respond. And in all teams, you have a variety of people. A hockey team is no different than a workplace or things like that. You have a main core of people that get on really well, and then you have these other players that are wired a little bit differently. Fantastic people, but they just think about things differently. And this player was one of those players. And he embraced the task that I gave him. And so he gives me a call, and it's 11 o'clock at night, so it's quite late, even for Belgium. And he starts the conversation as, I would like to buy a couple of blenders. Okay, tell me more. I have this friend, and he owns a fruit and vegetable store, and he would love to do something for the Belgian Red Lions, and it would kind of be his way of supporting what we're trying to do. Then what he thought he could do is, whenever we have a double training session, the night before, he could phone his friend and ask his friend to drop off a whole lot of fruit and vegetables and some ingredients to make these smoothies. The players would come in after their first session, they'd go have a shower, and he would go out the back and he would make smoothies for the team. And when they got back from the shower, they'd be on the table, and he would go have a shower and he would return. I thought, this is such a great concept. It's very giving, it's very serving, and let's see how it goes. Within the first 2 weeks, we started to see change in our group. The first change came when he was brought closer to the core of the group. Every time we had a double training session, he was inundated with, wow, that's such a great smoothie. What's in this one? Is there avocado? Is there banana? And that he was receiving a lot of thanks and a lot of gratitude for it. Now, if that's all it was actually enough. But in that process of making the smoothies, what he did is he would go out the back and he would work with the catering staff. And what he learned by working side by side with the catering staff, how incredibly proud that catering staff were to be preparing food for the Belgian Red Lions. It was their Olympic journey. And because he found that out, he shared that with the players. And so what we observed was that our players slowly but surely changed. They went from a group of athletes that were solely thinking about themselves after they ate, leaving their plates and cutlery and going off and having a sleep or going to play cards and resting before their second session, to a group that became very considerate, and they started to pick up their plates and their cutlery, and they would take it out and they would separate the knives and the forks and the plates and make it as easy as possible for the catering staff to do the rest of their job. Now, it's a busy time just before the Olympics. And one of the things that I ask of our marketing department is that in the last month, we don't want to be signing memorabilia and things. We want to be concentrating on the hockey. And one day I walked into the dining hall with about 3 weeks to go. And what I saw around a table was 2 players signing a shirt. Now I stormed over to them. If you know me, it's hard to tell if I'm storming or if it's just a normal walk. But I go over there and say to them, look, what's going on here? And they said, we're signing shirts. I can see that. But I told the marketing department, no, Shane, you've got this wrong. We're signing them for the chef and the sous chef, because we think they've done such a fantastic job in preparing the food over the last 6 to 8 months that we want to give them something. I thought, wow, I really did get that wrong. So I stepped back and I watched them as they presented the shirts to the chef and the sous chef, and it was quite a moving moment. And in that moment, I witnessed our circle of trust, that celebration group that you saw, grow a little bit bigger, Now, what was really super nice was when we won the gold medal at the Olympics, I received this photo message. And in the message and in the photo was a picture of us celebrating with our group, 10 players plus a goalie, surrounded by the coaching staff. And in the forefront was a selfie of the chef and the sous chef, embracing in their own circle of trust that was in the kitchen. A little thing as doing something nice in a group grew and grew and grew. And the ripple effect is really incredible. So my challenge to you as I finish off is, when you're watching your favorite sports team, and I hope it's the Red Lions, but when you are watching them play, please watch and see how they celebrate. If you see that celebrations are a 10 out of 10, maybe there's another medal just around the corner. Thank you.